One of the highest rated sprinters anywhere in the world. This is the first time the British public here in Royal Ascot will get to see Satono Rev. With over 2.6 million in prize money, 8 races to his name, Japan seek their first winner at the Royal Meeting. This is the horse that was second to Ka-Ying Rising at Hong Kong. He's a Group 1 winner in his native Japan, and he's a sizey, scopy colt. He walks really easily, freely, good mover. From his ear to tail, there's great scope and length. He is warm. You can see him sweating between his hind legs and on his neck, but it is quite a warm day. The rain has gone and the humidity is back. Joe Moreira will get the leg up. This is your favourite for the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes. That is the horse they all have to beat.
Coming back there, looking at him, that horse looks phenomenal. You heard Jane mention that big, long, scopy body. You can just see it, even if you're not an expert on horseflesh. You can see the way he walks with such ease. He has almost a swagger to him, but he's not nervous at all. Even though he's sweating, he's not acting like he's tipsy.
And it's almost like he walks from the rear.
From behind, yes.
From the power.
That's very good observation, Tom.
But you know, others you see, you know, horses that get longer distances, they, you know, when they walk purposefully forward from the front and they almost pull themselves forward. He looks as though he's going to project himself forward from the back. Yes, he's reaching very much with his back end and really utilizing that to push himself forward. So Satono Rev there will try to make the first winner for Japan at Royal Ascot. Incidentally, the Japanese-owned Al Riffer has been confirmed. He's going to line up in the King George. That is at the end of July. And that is one of the next instalments in the Crown Jewels Racing programme, the King George. We'll be here for that, very much looking forward to it, and that is where we will see Al Riffer. Good luck to Satono Rev. Let's have a look at the runners for our third contest, the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes. We have Anaf for Mick Appleby, Ross Orion, winner of the Saudi Sprint. That was a couple of years ago, hasn't been quite in the same form since. Elite status is a 22-1 shot, Grand Grey. I could make a case for number 4, Iberian, on the run in Ireland last time. We saw in Sharon Michelle win at the meeting last year, number 5. Yeah, I like him. Perfect 1-for-1 at Ascot, a 4-time winner of his 8 lifetime outs. James's Delight was a non-runner in here. Next one through will be Jasur. Blinkers coming on today. He was 10th in the kink stand earlier this week. Lazat then, one of the French entrants. I'm not sure if he's the same horse as he was at 3, but if he is, he could be a force to be reckoned with, Tom. Very much so, and Run to Freedom for Henry Candy. The Yard are in much better form this year. Sajir, another French raider for André Fabre and Usheen Murphy, and there is Satono Rev's colours. A 2-1 favourite now. Do you believe that he outran a car now that you've seen him? I'd like to know the make and model of the car and what speed it was doing. I like the sentiment that he outran a car. Starboy through next. This horse was a force to be reckoned with in Australia, but after being repurchased by Coolmore, he just hasn't been the same horse. He was very disappointing in his return to the UK. So you think in Star Spangled Banner, both Aussie horses to come to Ballydoyle and be successful here. Rumor has it they paid upward of $20 million for him. Yeah, I'm not surprised, but he didn't come with the same rating that Star Spangled Banner did. Jury's out on whether he is good enough. We saw Top Gear there. He's got a very good chance. And there is Night Eyes completing the lineup at a stall 14 for David O'Mara and Danny Tudhoe.
Thank you, Richard. A truly international race. Irish horse, English horses, French horses, and the Japanese raider tops the market from being 7-2 this morning. Satono Rev is 2-1 clear favourite with Dragon Bet. In Sharon, seriously well fancied by his trainer, who's been hitting the crossbar all week. 4-1 won at this Royal Meeting last year. Kevin Blake's fancy, Top Gear, a Group 1 winner in waiting. Kevin thinks the son of Wooden Bassel. 11-2 Lazat. I don't know what's happened to that horse, but he's taking a right walk in the market from 5-2, 3-1. Now look, 6.5-1 Lazat. Storm Boy also very weak for Aidan O'Brien, and Floor of Bermuda 16-1, and it's a pony 25-1 bar.
Now, it's quite difficult to line out all the different form lines in this race, so let's see how they look physically. Now, this is Storm Boy, who's having his second run over in this part of the world. His debut in Ireland didn't really go to plan. He was quite a disappointing beaten favourite that day. But his Australian form is pretty good before that. Not top level, but pretty good. Aidan O'Brien won this race with Merchant Navy from Australia before, and I don't know, Stormboy, he is very warm here. He's a big, strong boy, but I'd have to see something a bit more from him before you'd have confidence in backing him. Now, this is number 11, Satono Rev, the Japanese sprinting sensation, and officially he would have to be the best horse in the field. Coming second to Ka Ying Rising in Hong Kong, that's really good form because he is the best sprinter in the world. He's a lovely type, isn't he? He's really strong. Japan, known probably more for their middle distance horses, but this one, as a son of Lord Kanaloa, is definitely bred for the job, and I have to say he looks really well. Different thing for him that he's going to have to overcome is that he would never have run down a straight track like this. However, he is definitely happy on the good to firm conditions, which I don't think all of these necessarily would be. Number 16 is Night Eyes, who is one of the outsiders. So let's keep going, find some more fancied horses. This is Sajir, who was second to Top Gear last time out of a 7 furlong, so down a bit in trip, but a stiff 6 furlongs at ASCOT, rides a little bit more like a 7 furlongs. He won the Abernathy at Newmarket at the start before that, trained by master trainer Andre Farb, and he does look really well. Number 4's got a bit more length about him. This is Iberian. He's been beaten in lesser races. Billy Loughnane takes the reins for the first time. Looks in good nick, but I think he's going to need a career best performance here. Number 2 is Elite Status, who's got lots of ability. It wasn't a bad return at York last time out, and he, as always, from the stable is beautifully turned out. 9 is Run to Freedom. He'll be, again, one of the bigger prices here, although he can pop up and run a very good race, second in the July Cup at 28 to 1. He looks really well. 13, this is Top Gear, who actually, when you look in the book, he's described as black. This is quite rare, and I can confirm he is really very black and very impressive looking. Getting quite warm, a bit sweaty, is Top Gear, and he's in good form, having won his last 3. I wonder if he potentially wants a bit further. He has gone 7 furlongs and a mile. I don't love his feet. He's clearly had a lot of filler put on his feet, which always suggests that they're struggling just to get the shoes on and keep him completely sound. Number 1 is Anaf, who'd be another one of the bigger price chances. He's been quite good on his travels, but this is going to test him at this level. Oh, Jamie Spencer's just hopped on board. We're rather excited. Grand Grey as he heads out. And I haven't shown you Flora Bermuda, but I can confirm that she looks really well, and I think she's got a good chance at a big price. Now, number 8, Lazat, I do want to show you him. Was quite short in the betting, but I think he's gone out a little bit. He, a bit like the other French horse, can go further. He's also been on his travels before and done well in Australia. He's trained by Jérôme Renier. And another thing that I'm not so sure about with him is that you look through the form and there's no good to firm form when you look through it. However, in France, when they give their official ground description, they don't often give it as firm, and some people say it's not always that accurate, so maybe we shouldn't read into that too much. He's nice, he's relaxed, he's a good looking horse.
Well, Sheikh Mohammed Obeid's colours carried both by Elite Status and Inisher, and Sheikh Mohammed Obeid, great to see you. Of course, you won with Inisher in the Commonwealth Cup last year. How hopeful that you can win another Group 1 at ASCOT?
Well, I have to have a chance at least, with 2 running, I can't guarantee, but they are good horses. I never say, only in Shannon. Elite Status also good. If he good his stride, he will win.
Inisherin came back well this season, but Elite Status has always promised to win a good race, hasn't he?
Don't compare him, when he ran on soft ground. He doesn't like soft ground. If you think, he won 2 races in Newbury, very firm ground, and he broke twice the record.
So the ground could be key.
Yes. That's
and Sheikh Mohammed Obeid, you won so many big races, you won the Derby, but not all our viewers will know that effectively you are the owner of the great Dubawi.
Yes. It's Dubawi's. I had them in their Godolphin color, but it's mine. Whatever, they asked me to to run him in their color. And then I said, okay, but it is mine. Yeah.
We wish you all the best today. Good luck, sir.
Good luck. Thank you.
So Francesca pointed out in the ring there that Satono Rev has never raced around a bend because Hanshin, Hakodate, Sapporo, Chukyo, Shatin and Nakayama are all bend 6 furlong tracks, but that wasn't lost in the Japanese either, because this fella has been working at Newmarket on the July course, and it was Ryan Moore who rode him on this occasion. So they have tried to prepare for what he faces this afternoon. He is rock solid form and he will love the quick route.
And I think if you gave Nick Smith, the director of racing here at ASCOT, one wish this week, it would be for Satono Rev to win and the Japanese to finally get that Royal Ascot win. It's such a big thing, keeping the foreign runners coming, particularly Japan, with Whirlpool and so on. He's been very heavily backed. Best price 9-2 this morning with a couple of firms. Bet 365, Ladbrokes amongst them, and that's a nice touch. Typical Aidan O'Brien. And if any horse is going to blow the race apart, it might be this horse.
It could well be. I mean, his form back at home is very good. I mean, he's been running in behind Kaiying Rising, who is arguably probably the best sprinter in the world at the moment. It is a different test to stiff 6 furlongs on a straight track, but we've just seen him obviously galloping at Newmarket, getting a bit of experience in doing that. And he was a good looker in the paddock, Jason, probably a little bit sort of rangier and longer through the back than necessarily the European sprinters we're used to seeing. But he did take your eye, and his form at home is very good.
He's got the magic man on board today, hasn't he? Joe Moreira. Now, always remember, Alan Munro was a wonderful, wonderful rider. And I said to him, who's the best jockey you've ever ridden against? And he said that Joe Moreira, on his home patch when he was in Hong Kong, he said he should have been carrying a £5 penalty. He was so good. He really was. And he broke all sorts of records over there. Fascinating for him getting the leg up here, because this lad, you're right, Ed, he is the one in here, and the punters have latched on. Ryan rode him in that bit of work that we saw as well up at Newmarket. They've latched onto him, haven't they?
They have, big time. It's going to be so interesting to see how he gets on, and this is a meeting where more than 180 territories watch. The world is watching Royal Ascot, none more than this race, a proper global contest. But Jason, we want to find the winner. What's your selection?
Well, if you're shying away from him at the top of the market, you need something at an each way price. Now, we've heard, how often have we heard that Aidan say they're just ready to start? And I know Francesca's not going to be happy here, but Aidan won this race with a horse called Merchant Navy a good while ago, who came back from Australia to be over here, and he's trying to do the same with Storm Boy.
But Merchant Navy won on his debut, didn't he, in the Greenlands in Ireland, which is the same race that Storm Boy ran in, and he finished last. Now look, Aidan, as we know, can really turn horses around, so in Aidan we trust with Storm Boy, but it's not really enough evidence for me to back him with confidence.
He's got some strong form down under, which would match up to our sprinters at least, so he's a no from Francesca. He's a yes from me.
What price the Japanese horse, Brian?
Satono Rev was, as you said, Ed, 9-2, 4-1, 7-2, 3-1, 11-4, 5-2, now 9-4. Some bookmakers calling 2-1 Satono Rev in the ring. Ines Sharon is also strong, the good opposition, 4-1, 7-2, now 3-1. The best price along the rails. Lazat, few quid later on, the 6-1 drying up back into 5-1, 11-2, and Top Gear in the last 3-4 minutes, having been as low as 11-2, is now back out to 8-1.
Yeah, and he's a big drifter on the exchanges, Brian, as well, Top Gear. The late money is for Ines Sheeran. He's very warm on the exchanges. Now he's coming in for some good support.
Satono Rev then just been trotted round by Joe Moreira just to keep him so he doesn't stiffen up, but he's a magnificent looking horse. He's quite a long backed horse, but he just looks typical speed. As he's walking around here, he's not getting at all flustered given where he's come from and the totally new surroundings. He's got his ears pricked, he's looking about himself, and it's a real pleasure to have a horse like him here. It really is. It makes the meeting for me, and yeah, he's going to be bouncing out stall 16, so he'll be coming right down that stand side. Look at him standing there majestically. The loading process then is underway. Here's Ryan Moore this side, Storm Boy going forward. They should be loading pretty quick. There's 4 to go in late though.
Now, Meg Nichols, you fancy one strong here, don't you?
Yeah, in the Sharon. He stood out in the paddock for me. He's an absolute bull. I thought he looked amazing. He'll have taken a massive step forward from his return at York following a wind operation where Kevin Ryan felt he was very much in need of that run. He won the Commonwealth last year. I think he's got everything in his favour. Back at a stiff 6, and Kevin Ryan is really, really confident.
Why the horse in the red cap, the Wathnan horse? Why he's almost doubled in price earlier on?
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it, with Lazat? Now, I suppose everybody's looking at the international form that he's got, and is it that strong? You tell me about the Australian form.
Well, no, well, actually, just staying on the French form, it's funny because when you look through it, he's never seen ground firmer, well, good to firm ground, and Timeform are giving this ground as firm the last couple of days, but do the French always give accurate ground readings? That's the question a little bit.
I suppose it might put them off a little bit that the French have struggled pretty much all week.
That's the task they will face, the 6 furlong track in front of them. There's Satono Rev on the right. Hajim Satomi, the owner, good luck to everyone involved. Back to you, Luke.
Sajir has been taken out. He was in the stalls, loaded absolutely fine, got in there, and then he just started kicking out. He's absolutely fine. He's literally just got, whether he got claustrophobic or what happened, but he was kicking out fiercely. And you see Oshie Murphy was off on standing on sign as quick as ever. But the main thing he's fine.
So no Sajir, desperate luck for Andre Fabre. The French challenge is purely Lazat then. Last one coming forward will be Flora of Bermuda. Let's hand over to our big race caller, Richard Holes.
Flora of Bermuda completes the 14-strong field now, with Sajir being taken out for the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes, the Old Sprint Group 1 of the meeting, and they fly out of the stalls. Grand Grey jump better than normal. Flora of Bermuda leads over towards the far side. Lazat and Inisherin are prominent, and also going forward Storm Boy. Satono Rev in the green and yellow colours will race stand side just behind the leaders with Grand Grey, who races in 5th. Elite Status and Night Eyes are midfield with Anaf towards the tail early on. Iberian Jasur, and held up as well towards the back of the field, Great Generation. So out in the lead over on the far side, it is Lazat who takes the field along, attended by Top Gear in the white armlets, then Inisherin. Grand Grey just behind the Speed Run to Freedom. The near-sided Storm Boy being shadowed by Satono Rev, who moves to the left-hand side under Joe Moreira and tries to improve as they head down towards halfway. Lazat leads over on the far side with Top Gear and Inisherin. Satono Rev improving on the near side for Japan, given a shake of the reins by Joe Moreira to come after Lazat. France leads from Japan. Lazat and Satono Rev as they enter the final furlong. Lazat still has the lead, but Satono Rev is still throwing down the challenge. Lazat holding on, however, from Satono Rev. Lazat out in front will turn away the Japanese raider. Lazat won the QE2 from Satono Rev. Flora Bermuda behind those Night Eyes. Jasur rattled through with Iberian. Inisherin was next to cross the line with Run to Freedom all the way back to Anaf and Top Gear. Lazat, another winner of the week for Wathnan. Their 5th. Jerome Renier and James Doyle team up and repel Satono Rev as France saw off Japan. The pair pulling clear. Wathnan in 3rd as well with Flora of Bermuda. Big run by Night Eyes, who's come home in 4th place. Jasur rattled home to possibly just miss 5th with Iberian. Inisherin found it all happening too fast. Lazat, weak in the market, has hit the line strongly, turned at 9-2, drifted to 6-1 10 minutes before the off, but it is Lazat who turned away the persistent challenge of Satono Rev.
Some week for Wathnan, a 5th winner, and they've now had 1st and 3rd in the Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Stakes. When we pick it up, it's a clash between 2 countries, Jason, that have never won this race. The red cap for France, over on the right, the Japanese Satono Rev.
And you're asking who has had the best run in, because they seem fairly equal. There was a smaller group up towards the stand side rail, maybe 3-4 runners, I feel that it was, and you thought that the launch from the Japanese raider was coming, but Doyler had committed and maybe just pinched a little advantage.
I think you're right. He got a slightly better lead into the race, and Satono Rev really had to kick away from his small group, which he did. He showed a really good acceleration, but just wasn't quite enough to catch Lazat. Lazat, we know, can stay further, so they're able able to really kick him on and use his stamina going to the line. Watch Flora of Bermuda when we watch another replay. She ran on well to finish third, having been buffeted around a little bit. But the first two have put a good few lengths on the third.
First 2 miles clear, Jason.
Yeah, we've got Flora Bermuda puts a real good solid level to the form, if you like, back in second spot. But she's produced, Inisherin didn't produce. He was flat out from some way down, possibly ground, I don't know.
Not sure, but he was really disappointing. A bit gutted about that. He was a strong fancy of mine. But isn't it so good that our international runners, for the French, they've had a frustrating week. The ground's been too quick for so many of their runners. This horse, Lazat, has handled it well. Back down to a stiff 6 furlongs, not a problem. And Doyle was making sure he was going to make it a test on the front end, and he committed nice and early.
It's Wafnan celebrating again, and what a difference a couple of days makes. Jerome Renier, we read his quotes this morning, absolutely fuming off the ride that Factor Cheval got earlier in the week, and now the horse is loose, Lazat. Hopefully James Doyle is okay. Clearly still full of beans and setting off down towards Swinley Bottom. James Doyle celebrating.
No.
Let's see what happened.
Oh no, with the sheet. Oh, he's had a howler with the sheet. It's not a matador. That wasn't a matador moment.
Well, I didn't expect to do a walk-back interview like this with James Doyle. But James, you were just caught unaware while celebrating, was that right?
Yeah, his trainer flashed the sheet at him and he whipped round. But yeah, well, what can you say? I can't take any credit for this at all. Jerome and his team, Christian told me all about him. His jockey from before, his young jockey in France, did a great job bringing him through the ranks. He also rode him in Australia when he ran such a good race in the Golden Eagle. So we had all bases covered, and I have to say Jerome was very confident, very confident. He said all week, don't worry about the ground, everything's fine. We mapped the pace out in the race and we just thought, if I end up leading, I end up leading. He said, don't worry, he won't stop. So it worked out perfect.
Could you keep an eye? Could you know that Satono Rev was coming at you all the time?
Oh yeah, I could feel him coming all right, yeah. I could feel him coming, but he won't get a more genuine horse than this. He really pinned his ears back when he joined me, and he was always going to fend him off.
This is a cracking week for you. I think you've equalled your best Royal Ascot tally, okay. And the smile on your face as you rode that first winner has been there all week.
Yeah, I mean, it does help when you get a double on the first day. That does make things you can just relax into it. It doesn't take. If I had £1 for every time someone said to me, "Oh, that's it, the pressure's off," but like, it's completely the opposite, you know. Especially with this fella today, I thought he was my banker of the week, which I feel a bit guilty because we've obviously only picked the horse up a couple of weeks ago, and obviously I landed on him. But I have to say a huge thank you to all the team, Christian, the young boy over in France, whose first name I'm not sure, Omani, I think his surname is. He's ridden him through his career, and obviously Jerome. So big thanks to everyone.
Well, I'm going to let you go, and hopefully he'll be back soon, and we can locate him somewhere in the wilds of Berkshire.
People need to be very careful. You've seen how far away he is. This is some lap of honour, by the way. It's like it's at the Olympics. There aren't too many people to cheer him, and just people need to be careful.
I think luckily he seems quite a laid-back type. He obviously got spooked by the sheet, and he got rid of his jockey and thought, well, I'm going to go for a little canter. But he's not going flat out, Meg, is he? He's fine. He's just having a little hack around looking for his mates.
No, but I don't know if it was one of the groundsmen or team from the veterinary or what, but someone just tried to grab him when he broke back to a walk or trot, and he was having absolutely none of it. Sort of whipped round again and off he goes. Hopefully he'll meet up with James Doyle fairly shortly.
And what I was explaining just before then about the trainer, after Prince of Wales described Flavien Prat's ride of Factor Cheval as the worst ride given to one of my horses, he'll be a happier man now.
Well, here's Joe Moreira, the magic man, nearly pulled off every magic trick there, Joe. You must have thought you might get there.
Yeah, no doubts about it. We went into the race with a lot of confidence. The horse was feeling so well with himself. Unfortunately, we bumped into a very good horse today, which halfway through I thought I had him done, but he just had another kick, kept attacking the line. I was closing up the gap, but you know, we just bumped into a good horse today, and I still got to say, my horse ran really well, and I can't complain about it.
You know how important it is for everyone at ASCOT that a Japanese horse does really well here, because they want more and more of the international competition. in many ways, Lazat was the one horse you wouldn't have wanted there, would you? Because he stays really strongly.
Well, his form indicates that he's been winning very impressively at his home ground. I don't know, everyone else traveling here, we thought we had a really good crack, and unfortunately we bumped into a really good horse. As I said, I just can't complain. My horse tried his very best.
And you are the magic man. You ride all around the world. Everyone wants you on their horse. Give us just an idea for you of riding in front of this great crowd, this great grandstand.
First of all, there is no magic. There is hard work into it, you know. It's always a pleasure being involved into such a really amazing festival like this one. Unfortunately, I didn't have many other options, opportunity to riding other horses in other races as well. But had a chance to ride Satono Rev in the sprint. We ran second. Of course, it's not the best of the results, but I still got to be happy with that.
Very well done. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
So more help is coming. James Doyle, of course, the winning jockey, can't weigh in because the saddle is still on the winner, Lazat. Talking of jockeys, mixed race for the French. Poor old Sagir pulled out. Desperate luck for the André Fabre team. Stéphane Pasquier spoke to us after Top Gear's performance in the race. He said both front shoes went flying. So the horse had no chance from early in the race, which is bad luck for Christopher Head. And that's why you need to be careful. We'll keep you posted on what's happening here. In the meantime, Ruby, the front two pulled away clear.
They did. Lazat is having some laugh at everybody in ASCOT, isn't he? They did pull some way clear, and it's probably because it wasn't frantically run early. They went a decent enough gallop. James Doyle broke in the middle. Ryan Moore elected to go forward on the left then on Stormboy, and Joe Moreira got right into Ryan Moore's slipstream. But it was a pretty even and fair race for everybody. They blitzed along to the 5, and then we flick over to the wire camera. There was no hard luck story, but it's what Joe Moreira does in the green. He's going to switch out from behind Ryan Moore, and they go through after the fourth furlong, which was the quickest furlong of the race. He switches and joins Ryan, and watch how these two horses actually quicken up Lazette and Santano Rev. They pulled so far away from the others, and they had a finishing speed percentage of 103%, which is quite unusual for a sprint. Usually they slow down dramatically in the last furlong, but these two horses didn't. They ran 11.13 for the 5th furlong, and the winner Santano Rev ran 11.86 in the final furlong. The winner ran 11.81, so those 500ths of a second were the difference between winning and losing. But for sprinters to hit the line as quick as they did, we were treated to two very good sprinters here in ASCOT this afternoon.
Well, here's Richard Brown and Ollie Tate, such strong forces in the Wathnan crew. Richard, a Group 1 for Wathnan at Royal Ascot. This is what you wanted to do, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the pinnacle. It's been an amazing week so far. Every winner you cherish. It's very, very hard to win here, as you know. That is just phenomenal. Also because it was just a great horse race. You know, he's hooked up with a Japanese horse, and they've gone a long way clear in a 6 furlong race. It was amazing to watch.
He's a really good sprinter, this horse. When did you decide that he was kind of what Wathnan wanted?
So actually, we first had conversations here with, Nerlin Bizikoff and fair dues to him. He bred this horse. There's a lot of the family. Had our first conversations last April, so it's been going on a while. I think when he won on his second start, he looked very impressive in France. Did it at a very good time, and the division looked like it could be open, and that there was potentially a horse to go to the top, and he luckily has.
And we should point out that this horse started off, I think, over 7.5 furlongs, and this is only the second time he's ever raced at 6 furlongs. So it opens up a whole new avenue.
Yeah, very much so. Like, that was one of the things we really wanted to focus on, was we just felt that straight track, 6 furlongs, stiff 6 here would be ideal. Obviously, where we go from here, I don't know, but for me, it's going to be 6 and 7. And he is, he's a very, very talented horse.
The big prize at York over 7, is that in the back of your mind?
Maybe, yeah, it could be. I think the great thing now with that becoming a Group 1, there are a lot of options. There's Maurice de Geest, there's plenty of options now over 6 and 7, and I think it'll be versatile between the two.
And just a quick word on your jockey, James Doyle.
Yeah, who's just fallen off there.
Well, no, that was earlier. They're just showing a replay,
yeah,
but horse is loose.
Okay.
He's absolutely fine, but he's proved to be a gem. Not surprisingly.
He's world class. Been a huge admirer of him from afar for a long time. Very early in the operation, I said to Ollie, if we were going to have horses in different places, we needed a world class jockey on our side. We went to him, we got him. brilliant jockey, brilliant guy, team player. He sits in all these meetings where we're discussing what we're buying and looking at form and analysing it all. He's just, he's just a massive part of our team.
Great news is the horse has been caught safely. As we go back to the team, congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt.
Well, that's good news. James Doyle was stood there, wasn't he? A horse, my kingdom for a horse,
No
but they got
one
him.
seemed very upset that he was loose running around. I mean, he was seen in Slough, he was on his way to London. And
Honestly, he was near a wood end. There's a lovely pub called the Duke of Edinburgh in Wingfowl. I wondered if that's where he was off to, but they've got him. That's good news. Poor guy, I mean...
What, poor guy, he did it himself. People that don't say horses don't like to run. I don't know, you might want to try him over the 1.5 miles next. He didn't seem very tired at all. He went all the way to the top of the hill, back down, all the way back up. This could be a time that ponies would be beneficial.
But look, yes, I tell you what, in the States he'd have been caught a good bit quicker than that.
You saw the car was driving along and people were getting in and out trying to catch him, but a horse would have been able to get to him a little quicker.
Well, that was a success. Richard Brown and the Wathnan team, James Doyle, Jerome Renier, before the unfurling of the sheet. Well, that was after.
You guys are very lucky. We're all very lucky to be opening it. There we are, the Royal Ascot edition of Chapel Downs. Chapel Downs.
I thought you were opening it already.
Here's the voice. I need a glass nearer me.
The more silence, the better you are at this. Oh, little puppy.
All right.
I give it like a 7.5.
All right, I'll try. What was your highlight off the track, Michelle? Away from the racing, your highlight?
I think mine was probably the balloons. The first day we went and had a picnic in the balloons. I thought that was just beautiful and tremendous. That was the greatest view and so creative for a spot to be.
And Michelle, you have enjoyed taking a selfie with the king in the background every day as part of the royal procession.
I should have said that.
He stops right there. You guys have got the best view.
I should have said that. I do enjoy the selfies. And today I gave the hip hip hooray.
You led the crowd.
What about area away from the racing? Your favourite place to go?
I think the bandstand is the most lively place to go. I'm not sure I'd want to be going right now on a Saturday after racing, but I think that's where you can really soak up the atmosphere. But actually, to be honest, in the weather this week, the atmosphere has risen up a notch. It's been fantastic everywhere.
We are now being delivered after this is why Royal Ascot hits differently. There aren't many other sets and many other shows you'd close with just pure indulgence like this. Limited edition Chapel Down and an afternoon tea, which looks incredible.
Question.
Yes.
Cream or jam first?
Oh, well, I would always go cream first. That's the Devon way?
Correct. It is
cream first.
And the Cornish way is jam then
first.
cream, and all my roots are Cornish, but I still do the Devon way. Jam on top of cream, I feel like, is the way to go.
Do you know what we don't have though? A way to eat this.
Well, we will make it work. I want to just focus on the action on track if we can, and just focus on some of those highlights. Let's rewind to Field of Gold, who feels an obvious one. This really lit up the meeting. A stunning performance, an incredible turn of foot. This was the performance, Ali, on day one we wanted.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, it was billed as such a clash between all those Guineas winners, and he absolutely tore it apart. Look at that. What a classy horse. Is he as good as his father, Kingman? Well, he certainly showed it there. And he's got to go on through the rest of the season and prove it now.
He could easily be, couldn't he? After that, he has got to be up there, and history repeating itself with that horse. Michelle, over to you. You've worn blue ever since the Gold Cup, I think, for obvious reasons.
Do you know, though, that wasn't my top performance of the weekend. I changed it.
What?
I didn't choose Trawlerman.
Fine, well, I'm going with Trawlerman.
Okay.
This horse was just, what he did, the way he did it, it wasn't to be for Illinois, I know, but it was a brilliant performance from Trawlerman to dominate from the front for Will Buick, and what an excellent week for him as well.
Great week for William Buick, and that will lead us to some more blue for my favorites.
Michelle and I are co-presidents of the
Rebels Romance Fan Club.
Okay.
I talked to Charlie. I said I have a place for him at my house. He loves California.
No, I've already spoken to him. Don't worry.
We have to roast him. But what if we trade off? Like when it's cold and rainy in the winter here, you send him to me in California.
Here he is.
This was my highlight of the entire week.
Why for you guys? What is it about this that stirs you?
It's having this horse around for so many years, being at the top of his game. You don't see a lot of 7-year-olds that are globetrotters that act with such class and carry themselves with such poise, and they just deliver time and time and race. And How many times do you hear a jockey say, "This isn't my best friend"? And also, I just feel like you look at some horse like Zaragana, has all the talent and doesn't really want to do it. And there's Rebels Romance, who has an awful lot of talent, but wants to do it every time and shows such heart. What a horse.
It was fantastic. We need to choose what we're going for here, I think. Because
I don't know what this is, I want it.
It spells dangerous, but you probably want to save a hand for the glass anyway, because this is what Royal Ascot does. Out on course, sensational action, and everywhere else you go, just indulgence, class, quality, openness. I think it's fair to say we've loved every second of it. Ali, thank you for everything. Thank you to Jay Mangan, who's been a big part of the show. Thank you to Michelle Yu. It was once again 5 days of fabulous. Bye-bye.